The soul is obvious to everyone, that there's something different between things that are alive and things that are not alive. We have no idea what it is. Currently unexplainable. I believe we need an entirely different system of analysis to try to figure out. Sorry.
You know, if the soul is just a shell, and he can probably think like, well, you know, souls, consciousness, maybe someone could be born in the wrong shell. Like maybe this, you know, man is actually a woman, being just born in the wrong shell. So I'm just trying to make sense of why he would be even pushing the transgenderism movement. It makes sense because things that he does believe in, he's evil, one. And then also he has nothing, no epistemic grounding for any of it.
Explain the way this particle moves.
All right, so it says, all right, so this was in 2019. So watch during his 2019 interview with Stephen Bannon, Jeffrey Epstein talks about quantum physics, the soul, how there needs to be science beyond what is studied or explained now. Epstein talks about romance and female intuition. All right, so this is interesting here. Let's hop right into it. See what his points, So, you know, he's not an atheist, at least.
Explain the way this particle moves, but I can't see anything here. So I'll just call it dark matter. And I'll say, I don't know what it is, but it behaves as if there was something there. The soul is obvious to everyone, that there's something different between things that are alive and things that are not alive. But we have no idea what it is. It's currently unexplainable. I believe we need an entirely different system of analysis to try to figure out.
And what he's speaking about here, I did certain debates on this, and it's funny because Epstein is speaking about these transcendental categories, which in philosophy terms, what he's speaking about, the soul, we would call the self. The self would consist of the meaning behind the self as a soul or the mind. So with that being said, I see where he's going. Well, science cannot measure, or, you know, they have no evidence for demonstrating how we have a soul, how we are who we are, and all of these other things. And let's see what else he says, though.
No, with Newton, with all his chemical studies and things he worked on the spiritual side, Leibniz that just talked about the soul, Schroeder talked about what is life. If a modern scientist or someone that you funded at MIT or at Harvard or one of these things talked in those types of terms, they would be considered to be a wingnut today, wouldn't they? They would not be on the path.
Explain the way this
for tenure, right?
Unless they was in the philosophy department, then yeah. Because what he's referring to again is just the things that transcend the physical, which is transcendental categories like math. And you're going to hear him explain these things a little bit too. Math, logic, the self, which is like the soul, stuff like that. Things that we can't measure. We assume it. We know that we have it, but it's not in the tangible or the physical world of something that we have actual proof of.
This is exactly my point. We're talking about three of the greatest mathematicians in mankind's history that have really changed mankind. Talking like this, what happened? How do we get to a situation where they could not be in the high physics, they could not be in the mathematics department, or
which I can tell why he, like, it kind of makes sense where he can like go off into like the transgenderism type stuff. I'm sure maybe he wanted to use that as leverage, as power. Let's weaken the youth. Let's weaken men. Let's make women strong. Let's have the battle of the sexes. So, you know, we can maintain our leverage and our power. But I think another reason why he was maybe interested in the whole transgenderism movement is because, you know, look at the type of stuff that he's thinking about, but he has like no true ethics to like ground his beliefs in. Like, yeah, I know he's part of like the J community, but I mean, I don't really understand. Their religion is like, it's after the Torah. All right, you got the Talmud, and then it's like, that's it, right? They don't believe in Jesus. They don't really believe in a lot of things that the Christians believe in at all after the Old Testament. But it makes sense where if he does believe in the soul and these metaphysical categories that scientists cannot prove, logic and reason and mathematics. Now, people are thinking in the chat like, well, no, Cooley, we can measure mathematics. 1 + 1 = 2. No, yeah, we get that. I know math as far as we can use it, but the theory of math in itself, 1 + 1 always equals 2. These universal categories, these transcend the physical, because if we wasn't here, it would still be, the world was created in a mathematical way. How was it created in this way? We just use math as a tool, right? But where did math itself come from? So I can see where he can go down a rabbit hole and think, well, if the soul is just a shell, and he can probably think like, well, souls, consciousness, but maybe someone could be born in the wrong shell. Maybe this, man is actually a woman, be just born in the wrong shell. So I'm just trying to make sense of why he would be even pushing the transgenderism movement. But it makes sense because the things that he does believe in, he's evil, one. And then also he has nothing, no epistemic grounding for any of it. Because when you believe in a triune God, Jesus Christ is God, you can ground these transcendental and metaphysical categories within that specific type of God. He doesn't believe in that type of God. So, yeah, let's continue on.
High energy physics.
Good, it's an easy answer. Newton was a combination of mathematician, or geometer then, and philosopher. And as time went on, those disciplines seemed to move apart. We had philosophy. Some of the philosophers can't do math, and some of the mathematicians. And again, mathematicians often break into two categories. People that solve problems. Those are more like geometers in the old days, just problem solvers. And then there's thinkers, theoreticians. They're more like the old movement towards philosophy. But neither one of those two groups have been able to figure out why something is alive as opposed to something that's not alive. No one's been able to describe what the soul is, but we all know it exists. And I think what we need is science is a bad word. I think science only describes the things we...
He's very intelligent because he's thinking. You can tell he's a deep thinker. He's thinking like, listen, science is great. I'm a math head, and I've figured out a lot of things with science, but there's things that science hasn't figured out. And, one can only tell, why is he leaning towards this type of ideology and this type of thinking? And if we just correlate him pushing the transgenderism movement, he probably thinks some weird things. Like he probably weird himself. Oh, well, maybe I was a woman in another life, or maybe I'm a woman now in this body, and my soul is in the wrong body. Who knows, man? But he is smart. He's right on a lot of the things that he's talking about right now, which is crazy.
Already know about the physical world. In fact, there's an argument that the physical world that we see has been created out of our systems of mathematics. Mathematics, everyone knows mathematics describes the physical world much greater than it should, unless my view, the physical world really comes out of conscious beings that have mathematics. So they create it. This table appears to you and I to be solid.
Yeah, so he says the physical world came out of mathematics. You kind of lost me there. I'm not really sure what you're speaking about. Are you saying that, is he saying that, mathematics derived from the physical world, or the physical world derived from mathematics? I think that's what he's saying. The physical world derived from mathematics. That would make more sense than the other way around.
To a bat, because we have light that's bouncing off the table into our eyes, it appears solid. If instead of eyes that responded to wavelengths of visual light. Our eyes responded to radio waves, the radio frequencies. It's not different. It's the same type of frequency as light, but different speeds. The table's invisible. We know that our phone works in this room. So the waves are coming through the windows. The waves are coming through the walls. So the walls are invisible to that type of radiation, that type of energy. The walls are, I can see them because my eyes, a physical system, determines that the walls are there.
Well, frequencies can be measured. Frequencies isn't a part of the transcendental category. Frequency would be like a metaphysical category where like waves and frequencies, things like that, we can still measure those things. But the transcendental categories like math, logic, reason, the self, the soul, these things we don't have any measurements for. Nothing at all. It's complete blank. We don't know where they came from, how we use them. They're there. And we look at the outside world. Everything is numbered and ordered in a numbered fashion, in a logical fashion. So, yeah.
You, with Murray Geldman, you founded, or were the original donor, and had the idea of Santa Fe Institute. In 10 or 15 years later, that effort to study the complexity of systems mathematically.
Yes.
Was
it's a total failure. Yes, total failure.
Why is that?
It's the failure of science because, in fact, if to some extent science doesn't describe romance. I don't know why I'm attracted to somebody. I don't know.
See, he's going somewhere now. Yeah, this is why he has the mindset like, well, like, I don't know why I'm attracted to these children. I don't know why. You see, chat? You see where, like, if you don't have any epistemic grounding to ground your beliefs and you're a smart thinker like he is, then this is going to take you down la la land and you're truly going to believe in transgenderism. You're going to believe that, you know, a man can be in the wrong body. The soul can be in a wrong body where that soul is in a man's body, but it actually should be in a woman's body. So therefore, let's go ahead and, you know, push this transgender movement because I think that these people are in their wrong bodies. Well, what's attraction? Attraction, science can't measure that. Like, well, right? So then he can make it up other excuses. So he's trying to ground the things that he believes in. And what he's grounding the things that he believes in is in his own mind, in his own finite mind. And it's coming to all of these weird conclusions like transgenderism, like how he's attracted to little children and things like that, which he really needs to ground them in Christian ethics because that's where it's grounded in. And if he known about that, it would make logical sense, right? But once again, he's one of the J's, so, you know, he's not transitioning out of his beliefs and coming over to the Christian side. He's going to stay exactly where he is. And obviously he's no longer here, but who knows? He's a smart guy. He probably like faked his death and, you know, he's probably somewhere in Iraq or something chilling, or on some island in, you know, in the Bahamas that's off somewhere because there's so many islands in the Bahamas, but off somewhere and got his own little security team chilling and probably got a whole new face.
People are attracted.
Yeah, I seen that old movie. I think it was called Face Off, and Nicolas Cage played in that movie. And basically in that movie, they used to use science to remove your face and put someone else's face on you. That's probably Epstein right now. Epstein right now is probably Donald Trump. Nah, I'm playing. But Epstein right now is probably like somebody right now. Who knows, man? He out here. He probably not dead.
Attracted to each other, and everyone has the same feeling. They've seen someone walk in the room and they say, oh, that person gives me a creepy feeling. Science has tried to describe, science doesn't describe what creepy feelings means. They just know it's a creepy feeling. I think women, as I said the last time, have an intuitive sense. What is intuitive? They have intuition, they have feelings.
Oh, he beta. Homie, but I think women have intuition and feelings. Now, all human beings do.
They're
Have
able
the
to
ability to be intuitive.
deal in the realm of things that men, especially men like myself, find unexplainable.
But women can't explain them either, right? So I hear what he's saying. He's like, well, women are always in their feelings, and he doesn't understand female nature, though. This is why he was, diddling little children and stuff like that. He's a weirdo. This is why he had to go that route instead of dealing with real women. And he was married, but I think his chick was just weird as well, too. Or they were just like, it was like a business relationship. Who knows? I need her to speak too. Isn't she still alive? We need to interview her. But anyways, it makes sense on what he's saying because he's a lunatic.
Women have intuition. Men see things a bit differently.
Complexity of system.
See things a bit differently. Men want to measure everything. Women are not really that interested in measuring.
I see what you're saying, Epstein. But when we're speaking about women, if they were so intuitive, then they would know what men to date that would lead to a long-term relationship. Instead of dating a man, he smashes. Oh, he just left me. Dating a man, he smashes. Oh, I don't know what. It's just a man dating another man. They can never take accountability at all, Epstein. So women aren't as intuitive as you think. Now, they're emotional, but intuitive, it takes that side mixed with reason and logic as well to truly be intuitive. And women lack the reason and logic. They lack in that department. Generally speaking, not all, but generally speaking.
See things.
Okay, all right. So that was it for that part of the clip. Interesting.